So what the f is Octopus Guard? I'm seeing everybody talking about Octopus Guard. I'm seeing it in the gym, I'm seeing it online, I'm seeing it in so many different places. I'm seeing it in black belt world championship level competition, which says to me, it's time to break this down. It's time to make sure that everybody's on the same page. Octopus Guard, in reality, as a technical move, is a deep reverse underhook that people are placing to open up a scramble position. And once this scramble position has been opened up, they're entering into this three-step process, right? Put the deep reverse underhook, build height as much as possible. Height is very, very important to winning this scramble, and bridging and pushing into the person with your lower body as you look to stand up. We have some video examples. We're gonna go ahead and take a look at a lot of different grapplers using this crazy technique. Let's get into it. So let's go ahead and take a look at one of the best examples of Octopus Guard going right now, Craig Jones, everybody's favorite silver medalist. He went ahead and used this in a quintet match against Gregor Gracie. Everybody loves Gregor last year. Let's go ahead and take a look at how this sequence played out. Here you see Craig in bottom side control. This is one of the best places to use it. And anytime you can start getting a move this powerful going from an escaping position, I think it's absolutely wonderful. So let's take a look at this, and let's take a look where this starts out, because this isn't just any normal side control. This is a side control specifically where Craig Jones does not have his head controlled. There's no crossface, there's no reverse crossface, there's no kind of anything keeping Craig's head pinned down on the mat. That's going to be a theme that we're going to see a lot here today as we go through this. If you let your head get pinned down, the octopus is dead from the beginning. Once it's not pinned down, and once you're able to place that deep reverse underhook, you actually don't want to start to pin the head. We're going to talk about that when we get to BSM here pretty soon. But let's talk about this. From here, you see Craig puts his hands together, places that deep octopus hook, and starts standing up where he's able to reverse the position. Pretty snazzy. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. It's a very short sequence, but it's very powerful as well. So from the start, you're going to see Craig take a really interesting grip. This grip is going to make it so that he can throw his arm around very easily. It's by putting his hands together in a praying position. As he does this, that praying position that he had then lets him shoot his far arm through and put his elbow as far around his opponent's back as possible. The further around that elbow is, the better off it's going to be. Now notice that Craig is already going to step 2, which is building height. Here he's getting up on his left elbow. He's eventually going to work up to his hand, and as he works up to his hand, he's bridging and pushing in with the hips. This off balances his opponent as Craig underhooks this leg in an action that I would consider similar to a wrestling Metzger, and reverses him up over the top. Let's take a look one more time. Hands together, arms all the way to the far side, building height and pushing in with the hips, and from here, easy reversal. And now one more time, let's get back and start talking about something really important here. From this position, who's actually on top of the position as we look at it right now? Traditionally, you would say that Gregor is on top, right? His lower body is on top of Craig's lower body. But the problem here is Craig's upper body is on top of Gregor's upper body. Who really has the advantage? As Craig is able to escape his lower body and bridge into the person, he's able to eventually just get all the way on top himself. We're going to come back to this question a few more times. I want you guys to start thinking that way. Who's really on top here as we go through some of these sequences? Next example we have here comes from a recent world final at ultra heavyweight. These are two very big guys, but they're really moving and scrambling once they get into this octopus. Roosevelt is on bottom in this knee shield. He's accepting a lot of pressure from Heike. As people pressure in, the octopus actually gets a lot stronger if you're able to get to it, because the person ends up giving you their weight to take care of. Let's start by noticing the grips that Roosevelt has and the way that he's really preventing Heike from gaining control and access to controlling his head and spine. The longer he does that, the longer the octopus is an option. Let's take a look here at now Roosevelt's top elbow and the way that it's going to snake around here through the bottom. This is from half guard, a little different, by the way, compared to the side control that we were just talking about with Craig. Really shows you how versatile this move is, can come on from a lot of different positions. And here you see that top elbow starting to sneak and peek its way through, getting a little bit more and a little bit more, and there's the reverse underhook, right? There's that deep reverse underhook position where he's starting to get into the octopus. From here, you see step 2 already happening. He's building height and doing it very well and very fast by getting onto his left hand immediately. From here, it's just a matter of bridging into his opponent with his hips. From here, unlike Gregor, Heike is not going to accept the sweep. He's going to do everything he can to stay on top. It's a point rule set compared to a submission-only rule set, understandable, but that's going to make it so that if Roosevelt wants, he can take the back. That's exactly what's going to happen. He's going to push this near leg, tuck it back within his hips, and cut the corner to find the back. This is an incredible sequence. This was ultimately the sequence that won Roosevelt that world championship. So let's go ahead and take a look here as they go through it. Places the hook. Who's on top in this position? Just like I was asking earlier, right? I think traditionally, according to the rule set at this moment, Heike is still on top. But you can see that Roosevelt is actually taller in this position. He's gained a height advantage, which is making this into an uncomfortable scramble for the top player. Now as he tries to wrestle back into the position, you see the grip here on the leg, pushing everything back inside to the hips, where he can cut around, sit around, and there's the back. There's the hooks, there's the points. Incredible. Let's move on to our next example. Here we have 2025's Male Grappler of the Year, Aoun Wardzinski, in the European Championship Finals from 2024. He's taking on one of his biggest rivals, in my opinion, his biggest rival from his career, which would be Felipe Andrew. And this was really a monumental win. Aoun had beaten him at 2023 Pans, but Felipe had really developed some passing that was really giving a lot of troubles to Aoun over the years. And you saw Aoun start to develop this octopus as one of the counters to Felipe's very specific passing style, where Felipe would often bring that arm across. As Felipe brings that arm across, we're going to see right here, Aoun is already sitting up and getting his way into this octopus guard. From here, this is going to end up being a little bit more of a guard retention tool, which I think is really interesting. Rather than it being a escape or a sweep or a back take, it's going to be just something where Aoun can get his guard back based on Felipe's reaction. Here you see, now Felipe long steps. We have the deep octopus, but as you can see, we don't have any of the other two steps. This is definitely a big issue. But as Felipe sits across, you're going to see start to see Aoun take that all-important second step of building height onto his elbow. This makes it very hard to pin the person down, and if you can't pin the person down, you can't pass their guard. Because of this, Felipe understands that he is in a scramble position and he's going to take another counter action. Let's take a look. Felipe tries to step over the head. This is something I've seen Joseph Chen do. This is something I've seen more and more people do, so I really wanted to make sure that I included it here. But as he steps over the guard and tries to find a way to beat this octopus, which is making the guard pass basically impossible at that point, Aoun's going to do a really solid job of bringing his knees in, keeping them close to his shoulders, and making it basically impossible to pass his guard, and an inevitability that he's going to recompose, re-guard, and keep the fight going with no points out. Let's go ahead and take one more look at this. He sits up and starts playing with this deep, deep octopus guard hook, but Felipe is going to do a great job of stepping out. As he does this, you'll notice Aoun starts to bring his hips back a little bit as well, and he starts to build height up. Same three-step process. Felipe tries to counter with this Joseph Chen style step around. If Felipe were to be successful in this position, it would involve pinning down the far shoulder of Aoun. But Aoun is not going to let that happen by making sure his knees are too close to his shoulders to allow that, right? Let's take one more look at this little sequence. Here you see the buildup, which is understandably making it impossible to pin him. The step around, the knees are in close, and that's going to let him just pivot around on his shoulders and get back and protect himself. Still early in this match at the European Championships, Aoun would go on to win that match. Incredible performance from him. Back to no-gi competition, I really want to talk about Tommy Langaker's use of the octopus. When I saw it at ADCC trials, when he took on Mateus Flaga in the quarterfinals, sick fight. Let's take a look at this little sequence. I think there's a lot going on here that we can like just as fans of Scrambles, right? So Tommy's going to be sitting here in the half guard, very commonplace that we're seeing this set up, but he's going to start to take some pressure and throw in this octopus guard, right? From here, you can already see he's up on his hand, and now he's starting to use his left foot, especially to start to bridge and build into the person. As he does, his opponent tries to keep his balance, is really getting off balance, and this is going to let Tommy start to enter into the legs with a deep 50-50. Mateus is going to end up rolling out. Tommy's going to try to wrestle up on this, but I still think it's a really, really interesting sequence where we're seeing that the octopus guard is useful not just for these back takes, not just for these sweeps, but also for some of these leg entries that people might want to hit. So here we go again from the half guard, sitting up, sitting around. Here's the scramble position. Who's really on top? Like we've asked a few times already. Tommy starts to cut this corner and bridge in. As his opponent rolls up over the top, he's going to leave his legs dangling. That's going to make this 50-50 entry available. Ultimately, Tommy is not going to be able to submit with it because his opponent does a good job of rolling and clearing the legs. He tries to wrestle up, nothing doing. But I still wanted to make sure that people saw it because it's such a good example of the way you can use an octopus to create a scramble. In the middle of a scramble, you're going to be able to find a lot of different opportunities. Let's take a look now at one of my favorite octopus guard examples, just because it's such a sick scramble from these guys. Andrew Tackett and Dory Aoun, ADCC trials. Both these guys are super exciting. Obviously, everybody knows Andrew, one of the best in the world at 170 pounds. People may not know Dory as well. Dory is absolutely one of the most exciting guys. Anytime you can see Dory Aoun fight, he's going to bring it. He's put on some of the best matches at so many different tournaments that I've been to. So I was really excited to be able to talk about him here with this sick example of Octopus Guard that he ends up using on Andrew. Here you're going to see a couple of different scrambles, right? Because Dory is actually going to start here in the rear body lock, but Andrew's going to cartwheel up over the top. And this is another position. This may be the best example of asking who's on top. You see that Andrew has beaten the lower body and has been able to get a really good base. Dory's sitting down, that's not great. But the problem is that Dory is still able to sit up. And as he's sitting up, his upper body is still on top of this position. Dory's not gonna be able to octopus this way though, right? He's kind of facing the wrong direction. He's facing up towards the head rather than back towards the hips. Makes it tougher. So instead, Dory's gonna take this interesting little roll to the far side and place his octopus hook, right? Placing that far arm deep across in a almost inverted tight waist kind of position. As he has this, Dory's gonna take a second action where he starts to fix at the lower body, right? He's already got good height, he's got this deep octopus. Now, notice this hand start to push at the leg, just like we saw Roosevelt doing, pushing that leg down in between his two knees. As that leg goes down in between his two knees, all he needs to do is a little hip escape out to the side, and he's taking the back. He wrestles up on it, sinks the far hook as he comes up, and they continue the scramble. Just crazy stuff from both guys there as they scramble through that position. This is one of my favorite sequences of this entire trials that we saw. Let's take a look at it again in slow motion. Here you see Andrew, always down to clown, starts things off with a grip on the leg and a deep cartwheel up over the top. You see Dory have to start to scramble out, and he finds this octopus guard. As he finds the octopus, he's also pushing at the shin and pushing that down to be able to create this back take. And once he has that angle up to the back, he chases it, he gets all the way to the far side, ends up placing that far hook with the seatbelt, and they go all the way through this position. Awesome stuff. Let's take one more look just so people can kind of see everything that's going on in one uninterrupted way. Cartwheel up to top, the roll to the far side, the octopus cuts the angle, back up to the position he was just in. Crazy, crazy scramble from Andrew and Dory. Definitely can't wait to see those guys' next fights. So earlier you guys heard me mention BSM with regards to Octopus Guard. That's because BSM has my favorite Octopus Guard submission of all time, which is a crazy wrist lock that she hit at the, I want to say 2024 World Championships against Victoria Vieira, who's obviously super tough, world ranked, super up there. But BSM was able to snatch this on because Victoria started to reach back into the position a little too aggressively, and we're going to see exactly what happens. So as BSM is setting up this Kimura, Victoria is gonna rip her arm out. As she rips her arm out of the Kimura, that's gonna leave an opening under her elbow where you can sit up and place this underhook. Failed Kimura, great setup for the octopus. And there you see it already set, deep octopus. And now look at Victoria's reaction. She's trying to look back and cross-face and really attach this person. We said if you can kill the head early, you can kill the Octopus Guard. But this is the danger of trying to kill the head late, because Brianna is going to snatch onto that wrist. She's going to take her hand and put it up by the shoulders. As she takes her left hand and puts it up by the shoulders, that's going to keep a lot of weight and pressure and make sure that Victoria is not easily able to escape this position, because she is getting locked in here with this devastating wrist lock. Now notice Brianna, even with her own chin and own side of her face, is pushing into the wrist of Victoria, creating submission pressure. Victoria's being very tough, so Brianna ends up having to go with her hand and really throws that in there to get the tap. This is one of the craziest wrist locks I've ever seen in my life. You can see the angle that it's going through, ton of damage, ton of aggression on this, but eventually BSM is able to get, you can notice the way that she's controlling the position is a lockdown on that far side to make sure that her opponent can't roll and can't try to escape anything too crazy. So let's go ahead and take a look at that a little bit slowed down, this crazy, crazy wrist lock finish from BSM. She's here in this deep, deep Octopus Guard. Her opponent tries to cross-face and leaves her hand out. As she leaves her hand out, she leaves the wrist out. And as she leaves the wrist out, Brianna is able to throw this lockdown with her lower body as she's attacking this deep, deep wrist lock. You can just see how vicious it is, how determined she is to get this. Crazy, crazy stuff here from the Octopus Guard. Notice as well the left hand, like we talked about, up at the top, making it hard for her opponent to use her arm. Lower body's taking care of the lower body, and the submission is coming on devastatingly at the upper body. This is one of my favorite submissions from that year, to be perfectly honest. There you see the tap, the finish, BSM celebrating. Effective use of the Octopus Guard there in the gi from BSM. Crazy stuff. Guys, you heard me mention at the beginning of the video the kind of godfather of all this, the guy that people still look up to when it comes to Octopus Guard, who really popularized the position, is Eduardo Telles. Eduardo Telles is a guy who is most closely associated with his turtle guard, but he's got a ton of really interesting, really innovative things that he does that I still think people could learn from, right? That still haven't maybe hit a lot of the broader grappling public, even this so many years later, right? Eduardo Telles is an IBJJF world champion. He's a no-gi world champion. He won that title in 2013 in a crazy, crazy match with a very young Felipe Pena. So I want to go ahead and take a look at that match right now. We found it on YouTube, on GracieMag.com. They had it. Thank you to those guys for letting us be able to look at this. We want to take a look at these last 15, 20 seconds. There's a close, tied-up match. And this last sequence from Eduardo is going to end up deciding things. This is one of the craziest back takes I've ever seen in my life. This is one of the craziest examples of octopus that you're ever going to see in your life. Let's take a look. So here we are in the turtle position. Not crazy for Eduardo Telles, of course. He's facing very young Felipe Pena here. He is going to go ahead and start a roll to try to create a scramble. They're going to end up in a front headlock. Let's take a look. So he goes ahead, he creates this roll. He rolls up to top trying to get some kind of wrestling exchange. And there's this crazy back take that Eduardo Telles is able to hit, sinking 2 hooks and looking for the choke as time expires against Felipe Pena to be able to win a world championship. That's a super clutch moment. We're gonna go ahead and talk about this a lot slower, right? Because there's a lot going on here. So here we see it slow down. His opponent's gonna roll and eventually come up into this front headlock position. Felipe, from here, is trying to wrestle the position, and it is pretty smart, to be honest, right? He's trying to sprawl, he's trying to keep his weight down, he's trying to push on the legs, he's trying to keep his opponent down and away and low, because he understands if he can ride out this position for not much longer, he's going to be in good shape to win this world title, right? His opponent lifts him. As he lifts him, he's going to throw him off to the side. This is called a waterfall position in wrestling. Sometimes it's called an Iranian lift or an Iranian position as well. But as he does this, the problem here for Felipe is Felipe kind of is losing control of his weight, right? When you're sprawled down, you are the one making your own connection to the mat. As you get lifted up, now it kind of becomes a scramble position. And Eduardo Telles is always great in a scramble position. As he dumps Felipe Pena off to the side here, he does a crazy thing that no coach would ever recommend to you. He pulls side control. He gets halfway through the takedown and then drops himself into side control. Why do you guys think that is? Because he knows from side control, he has a lot of great octopus stuff, right? So he drops him down and then immediately sits up. Now, we said it earlier that you want to be facing the hips and not the head. Eduardo Telles, in this case, is facing up to the head. What a master. Maybe we need to be seeing this a little bit more often in competition. But from here, he throws his legs around. Felipe tries to roll back into him. But there's the hooks, feet crossed, but fair enough. And the choke, incredible sequence from Eduardo Telles. Let's take one more look at this, right? He rolls, and this roll sends Felipe Pena away. And as he comes back up, they end up in the front headlock, and he starts trying to wrestle. He throws the legs off to the side, pulls side control, and starts trying to come up to sit through it one more small time, lifts his opponent up, throws him to the side, right? This is something that you will see commonly in wrestling. Somebody that I remember using this a ton would be Jake Herbert, world silver medalist, Olympian, NCAA champion, Hodge Trophy winner. If you want to see more examples of this position from traditional wrestling, Jake Herbert, great example. But as he throws him off to the top, boom, there's the pull of side control. And he immediately is sitting up. As he sits up, notice that he does have control of the back. He has good back exposure. He throws the seatbelt. He escapes the legs. Felipe falls back trying to prevent the position, but it's not enough. There's the octopus style back take, one of the craziest back takes that you're ever gonna see. And so that's kind of Octopus Guard 101, right? That is how people are getting into this position, and a lot of different people are using this for a lot of different things, right? Back takes, sweeps, submissions. We saw a lot. If you have not played around with this position yet, I think you should. I think you should head into the gym and at least give it a try. And if not, at least you understand this a little bit better. And next time you're watching and you see this, you're gonna know what's happening a little bit more. My name is Joe Gilpin. This is for FloGrappling. These are the technique breakdowns. If you guys have any other techniques or grapplers or sequences or anything that you guys really want to see us talk about, make sure you drop those in the comments and we will be back very soon.